Hello. Good evening to you and you and you. This is Bonga Dada Bonga, and I am your correspondent, Dashanaba King. Thank you for tuning in to Bonga Dada Bonga tonight. We are a platform for women's voices, and our co-anchor, Miss Terry Kemp, also known as Nana, is on leave. Also, Coach Rakaya, who comes in as a co-host, a co-anchor on Bonga Dada Bonga, is traveling. So I'm happy to say that I, Dashanaba King, will be your correspondent for tonight. And I'm happy about that. Okay, so on the show tonight, we will take a look at women in the news globally. We will also talk about a few June month celebrations, and we'll take our time to give honor and a tribute to those we know who have our legends who have fallen sometime in the month of June. Okay. Once again, Nana Afua Adezawa is on leave, and Coach Rakaya has traveled to Panama, her home country, and she'll be doing some Spanish immersion courses while she's there. She's also celebrating her birthday while she's there. And also, she's invited family down for a little family time. So we wish them well as they're enjoying themselves in Panama. I want to go. I want to go. Let me take a moment and give shout outs to some of those tuning in to Queen Mother Speaks. I want to say hello to Chief Salunga, Chief Hatsu, Chief Lamaya, Nana, Gatamore and Aisha in Ghana, Sissy, Ernestine, and Principal Malungu out of Namibia, which is another country where Queen Mothers lived. And to all of you, I say thank you for tuning in, and we're glad that you're here. Remember to hit that like, share, and comment button. Be sure you like, share, and comment. So now, what is this thing called Bonga Dada Bonga? Bonga Dada Bonga has actually been in existence now for a year. It was in May 2022 that Bonga Dada Bonga made its launch. And it is a new platform for women's voices. It's a site, it's a point, it's a space that really strives to amplify voices of women and survivors who have been silenced for one reason or the other. Bonga Dada Bonga joins a growing list of service organizations and supporters of women causes in countries across North America, Latin America, the Pacific Rim, and even Africa. You will hear phenomenal, extraordinary stories, even some heartbreaking stories from some of the most courageous, powerful, and inspiring women, girls, and in some cases, even men that you will ever meet. We're pleased and happy for all of our guests who've been on the Bonga Dada Bonga show, and we ask you to continue to tune in for more and more and more. Each one of those who come on the show, we consider to be a superhero. And again, we're proud and we're honored for them to appear on the Bonga Dada Bonga show. They will share their colorful biographies, their experiences, their narratives, their testimonies, and of course, their stories with you. So now, that's what Bonga Dada Bonga is. It's a platform for women's voices. Why is this platform important? And why was this platform even needed? Well, to be just right down to earth with you, the Bonga Dada Bonga platform was started in May 2022 during the time that women in Kenya were running for office. We found out that many of them did not have a platform. So we created the Bonga Dada platform for the women and the Kenyan women in politics to be able to get their stories out. And even after the election itself is finished, we will be having some of those women back on the show to talk about what happened, the victory, the thrill of a victory, and some of them will talk about even the agony of a defeat. So we'll be having them back on the show to talk to us about what's happening in their life, What do you think? What do they think women should be doing, like right now, leading up to the next election, which is in 2027? We have 5 years. 5 years, y'all, to work on getting it together before the next election for women. More on that later. Another reason why Bonga Dada Bonga is important because it's an opportunity for us to generate visibility of women and what women are doing, familiarity, realization, even support for women's aspirations. And women's aspirations are many, very, very, very many in this culture and others. And so on this Bonga Dada Bonga show, we will be talking about women all over the globe. We'll be talking about women from the diversity of cultures. For example, Namibia, South America, or Ukraine. We can't wait to tell you what's going on with the women in Ukraine. Stay tuned. Israel, Kenya, and other countries. Once again, we thank you for tuning in to Bonga Dada Bonga. And Bonga Dada Bonga is a platform for women's voices. So for those of you wondering, how does this show work? First off, I just want to take a moment and say to you again that the Bonga Dada Bonga show normally have hosts. We call them anchors and co-anchors. And I am here as a correspondent because everybody's got busy schedules. And when they cannot be here with you, then I will be here with you as a correspondent, or Teresa Kemp will be here with you as a correspondent, or you might get Coach Rakaya, who will be a anchor or a co-anchor. So we've got a lot of people on the team and they'll be coming in from time to time. So the way the show works is we invite in these women leaders who are in various roles, and they come on the show as a anchor or co-anchor, and they will be inviting in guests. They will also be covering news events, and they address the current state of affairs that's going on in the world today. Some of the things that are trending and some of the things that are not. But once again, our anchors and co-anchors will be from a colorful spectrum of people, for the most part women. And yes, we have nothing against men. In fact, we love them very much. All of them. All of them, from the babies being born today to the 3-year-olds, the 10-year-olds, the 20-year-olds, the 50-year-olds, the 60 to 30 to 9. We love them all. So don't think for a moment the Bonga Dada Bonga is a place to exclude men. No, but it is a place for women's voices. And women's voices can also hear men's voices. And that's the way the cookie crumble, and that's the way the ball is bouncing. Okay, so now that you know who we are, how it operates, let's get into the show for today. So coming up today, we are some of our few developing stories will be, once again, we will give you news on a few stories of women around the world, okay? And we will give you stories on what's happening in the month of June. June is a very celebratory kind of month. I mean, there's something happening every single day in the month of June. We're going to talk about some of them, but not all of them. But there are several awareness months that happen in the month of June. There are many, but the 5 that get the most attention in the month of June would be LGBTQ plus Pride Month in the month of June, PTSD Awareness Month, June, Gun Violence Awareness Month, June, Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month, also June, Immigrant Heritage Month. Yes, we will be covering all of these. Let's take a moment and say hello to some of our people tuning in to the show today. Let's see, I think we just got, there we go. Thank you, Christine. A wonderful friend. The lady is a businesswoman and she makes the most beautiful furniture you would ever see. You've seen it before because we've had it on the show, but we're going to have her on the show again to talk about furniture making and why did she choose to get into that kind of furniture making, and where did she learn her furniture making, and how has it been that she's returned to Kenya to get the business started, all talking about furniture making. Thank you once again for tuning in, Christine. This is Bonga Dada Bonga. We ask you to please give us your comments, your shares, and your likes. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I see some likes coming on the board. Thank you for that very, very, very much. Okay. So now, from women feeling invisible and overlooked in the workplace to artificial intelligence, women in the digital space, the Pope, who recently is now allowing women to vote, to women who are gambling addicts. Did you know that? We hear their stories in the news, and we will be reporting on many of those stories right here on Bonga Dada Bonga. All right. Social media can spread awareness of issues that affect women. And the issues, of course, as you know, do affect women. However, there are platforms for voices of women to be heard in addition to the Bonga Dada Bonga platform, right? So all of these platforms are in position and in place to inspire, to inspire, to inspire, and to empower women to take action. One way to harness the power of social media is for female empowerment is to use it to share their stories. And that is exactly what we are doing on Bunga Dada Bunga. All right. Our first story of the day that's happening, an awareness in the month of June, is called the Best Friends Day. Did you know that there was a Best Friends Day? There is. And Best Friends Day is guess when? Today, June 8th, is Best Friends Day. So I take this moment to wish my friends around the globe, hello, we love you, we praise you, we thank you, and we ask God to bless you. Thank you for being my friend. Thank you for being my friend. All right. So, Best Friends Day is a time to enjoy and appreciate your good old buddy. Appreciate your pal. On this June 8th holiday, and yes, it is a holiday, you can honor and cherish the relationships that you have with your best buds. And while you're at it, today is also a good opportunity for you to nurture better relations with all of your friends, from your best friends to your casual relationships. Yes, I do have friends. We all do. But did you ever stop to think, what do you need to nurture in those relationships? Is there anything in your relationships that you need to do? I know as we were leaving the 2022 year and moving into the 2023 year, I had a few friends who I needed to speak to about some things that happened that I didn't feel so good about. But I decided I wanted to speak with them before the new year came in. So I did. I made it my business to get in touch with them and talk to them about those things that were on my mind. It's a good thing to take time out and talk with your friends and talk with your buddies, okay? If you're lucky to have a best friend, that's a good thing because not everyone does. If you're really lucky, you might have several best friends. Now, there are people who say you can't have more than one best friend. I don't agree with that. I think you can have more than one best friend because there's many people in your life who's very, very special. So you spend countless of hours with your best friends and you go over events, you go over activities, you just talk, and you just hang out. You go to sleep, you wake up, you may even eat something together, you may go out to eat. Hey, best buds, I thank God for the best buds in my life. Guess what else your best buds do? You share secrets. Yeah, you do. You share secrets. You share your hopes. You share your dreams. You share your aspirations. And you even share your disappointments with your best friend. So, yeah, today is Best Friend Day. Some, again, folks say that you can have only one, but I don't agree with that. All right, I think you can have several, but friends come and go. Earlier today, I was speaking to one of my best friends who just happens to be Nana, who is Teresa R. Kemp. And she was saying to me that everybody you meet, Queen Mother, is not meant to be in your life forever. She said to me just today that some people are meant to come and go. And she made an analogy to a book. She said, when you're reading a book, you go from chapter to chapter to chapter. And each chapter, you discover or you learn something new. The same thing is true with your friends. You discover and you do things anew. Okay? You really do. Do things anew, and you move on after you've done some of these new things. So once again, before midnight tonight, you have about 5 hours. Please take the time to get on the phone or jump in a vehicle and go see your best friend and just say to them, today is best friend day, and do whatever you want to do with them. Frankly speaking, I wasn't aware until last week that there was even a best friends day, which is why we wanted to come on the air and talk to you about it today. We hope that you are lucky enough to have several best friends, not only just today, but over the years. Now, here's some ways that you can celebrate your best friends. You can hang out with them. Also, you can make efforts to find a best friend. Sometimes your friends move on, or, you're not in the same type of relationship that you were in before. So, what do you do with that? What do you do with that? Okay. Strive to improve your relationships with your friends and do everything you can to keep the relationship clear, clean, and flat. Once again, if something comes up, do your best, your very best, to work on it right then and right there. Here is a quote for you by Jim Morrison. He says, friends can help each other. A true friend is someone who lets you have total freedom to be yourself, and especially to feel yourself or not to feel. Isn't that great? Whatever you happen to be feeling at the moment, whatever it is that you're feeling at the moment, that's usually fine with your friend. Okay? That's what real love is, and that's what real love amounts to, letting a person be who they really is. Thank you, Mr. Jim Morrison, for that quote. All right. We're now going to leave events happening in the month of June, and we're going to step right over to other events that happen in the month of June. Okay, let's see. All right, we want to put another comment up on the screen. Let's see. Here we go. All right. People are saying hello. People are saying hello, and thank you to those tuning in today to the Bonga Dada Bonga Show. And we just want to say to you in big letters, thank you for tuning in to the Bonga Dada Bonga Show. Now, in the month of June, there is a thing called LGBT. You've heard of it. Yes, you have. June is the Gay Pride Month, and we're in the month of June. And LGBT is an initialism that stands for lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender. This term has been used since the 90s, as well as some of its common variants, okay? But LGBT serves as the umbrella, okay, the umbrella name or term for certain types of sexualities and gender identities, right? This year, there is a poll over the Gay Pride Month. As the LGBT community celebrates Pride Month, we're besieged by a malicious, coordinated legislative attack. There's been a notable rise in the number of anti-LGBTQ bills since 2018, and that number has recently accelerated with the 2023 state legislative year being the worst year on record. According to the Human Rights Campaign, in 2023, there have been more than 525 such type bills introduced, And these bills have been introduced into 41 states in America, with more than 75 bills that's been signed into law as of 2023, June 5. All right, just a few days ago. In Florida, the state has become known for its Don't Say Gay law. Florida, the state, has now become known for its anti Don't Say Gay law. Just last month, Governor Ron DeSantis signed legislation that banned gender transition care for minors and prohibited public school employees from asking children their preferred pronouns. Kelly Robinson, the president of the Human Rights Campaign, recently told that the number of signed bills is likely to move higher. There's 12 more that are sitting on the governor's desk. How about that? So you could be nearly at 100 new restrictions on the LGBT community by the end of this cycle. For that reason, on Tuesday, for the first time in its more than 40-year history, a human rights campaign declared a state of emergency. Right now, a state of emergency on LGBTQ people in the United States. There's been other periods of backlash, right, against the queer community, including the passage of oppressive legislation. But this last one has moved an alarming political calculation and efficacy, right? It's a terror campaign. Many of the people in the LGBT community is saying. They're also saying that this kind of terrorism that the LGBT community is currently experiencing is punishment. Okay? It condemns them and it identifies and cuts off avenues for receiving care, but it also creates an aura of hostility and it issues grievances threats. So a lot of people in the LGBTQ community are being threatened. And the United States, in terms of the GLAAD, which is the preeminent organization for an advocacy for LGBTQ, they have declared a state of terrorism in America on LGBTQ. All right. And the whole idea for that is to frighten people into compliance and submission. More during the month on the LGBT community. We love to bring in a LGBT to talk to you about it on Bonga Dada Bonga. Okay, another story in the news this month is about a woman who traveled for 7 hours by camel. Did you hear me? A woman who's traveled more than 7 hours gave birth, and her mode of transportation was a camel. Wow, wow, wow. Once again, I want to thank you for tuning in to Queen Mother Speaks. I'm sorry, I thank you for tuning in to the Bonga Dada Bonga Show. And it is on and it's happening right now. Yeah, yeah. So right now we're taking a look at women's stories in the news. Okay. Mona, this lady's name is Mona. When Mona's contractions hit a camel, okay, the lady Mona, who traveled 7 hours to give birth, her contractions hit hard, and a camel became lifetime for Mona. Mona's 19 years old. There she was, water broke, and on her way to the hospital. Okay. The journey to the hospital would take 4 hours from her house on top of Rocky Mountains, but with no roads, suffering labor pains, and in bad weather. Instead of the normal 4 hours, it took Mona 7. With every step of the way, she said, she was torn apart. She was in lots of pain. She said when the camel could go no further, then she had to dismount the camel and she trudged the final leg of her journey on foot with her husband. Now, in northwest Yemen, that is a province in Yemen, Bana Sand Hospital is the only surviving health facility for thousands of women. So from Mona's house, where she lives in a village, uh, the facility can only be reached by treacherous mountains, on camel, or on foot. But given that Mona was pregnant, the husband and the brother-in-law decided to put her on a camel. She says that there were times that she prayed that God would just take her away and protect the baby. She said she was in so much pain, she was just praying to be taken away. She wanted to escape the pain. But her story is really just one of many cases of women suffering hardship around childbirth. And this is happening in Yemen. So, with international funds that are drying up, centers like the Bainey Hospital, they are further financially squeezed, and the staff at the center of fear in the future, the mothers and babies, they would have to choose between who they could save and not save. Wow. How about that? Okay. We were expecting our celebrity blogger to be with us tonight, but as of this moment, she has not come on and we're going to continue. We want to say thank you for tuning in to the Bonga Dada Bonga Show. I am your correspondent, Dashanaba King. Our other correspondent, Teresa Kemp, is on leave, and our other co-anchor has traveled. So again, I am your co-host for tonight, and I am very happy to be here. All right. So we won't talk about Linda right now, but Linda's going to be bringing us celebrity news from time to time on the Bonga Dada Bonga Show. So we'll be introducing her to you more and telling you more about her as we go on. Okay. So first tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to talk about the fact that Tina Turner, our Queen of Rock, made her transition a few weeks ago. Tina affirmed and amplified Black women's formative stake in rock and roll, defining that era of music to the extent that Mick Jagger admitted to taking inspiration from her. Mick Jagger, the famous Mick Jagger, admitted that he got a lot of inspiration from Lady Tina Turner. He said from her high-kicking, energetic live performances for his stage performer. After 2 decades of working with an abusive husband, Ike Turner, she struck out alone. She did have a few false starts, okay, but she is one of the defining pop icons of the late 80s with the album Private Dancer. Do you remember that one? Private Dancer. Private Dancer. Her life was chronicled in 3 memoirs, a biopic, a jukebox musical, and in 2021, the acclaimed documentary film on Tina. Did you see it? Okay. She was an American born Swiss singer known as the Queen of Rock and Roll. She rose to prominence as the lead singer of the Ike and Tina Turner Revue before launching her own successful career as a solo performer. I did get a chance to see the Tina Turner movie. Yes, I did. I did get a chance to see the Tina Turner movie and learn a little bit more about her life. I didn't know Tina personally, but I sure did keep up with her life. She's a November born in the year 1939 in Tennessee, and she died on May 24 in Switzerland. Okay. Um, she died at the age of 83 after a long illness. She had suffered some ill health in recent years, and she had been diagnosed with intestinal cancer in 2016, and she had a kidney transplant in 2017. In a statement, Bernard Doherty said, Tina Turner, the Queen of Rock and Roll, has died peacefully today at the age of 83 after a long illness in her home in Switzerland. With her, the world loses a music legend and a role model. I say to Tina Turner, may you rest in peace, my sweet queen, my sweet queen of rock and roll. May you rest in peace. Thank you, Tina, for all that you've done for all of us. All right. We want to say thank you again and again to the legendary, let's see, here we go. There we go. The legendary Tina Turner. Okay. Our next legendary hero that we want to honor tonight is a gentleman by the name of Harry Belafonte. Harry Belafonte. He was an American singer, he was an American activist, and an actor. And he popularized what we know as calypso music with his international audiences in the 50s. Hello now, Queen Mother was born in the 50s, but Harry was already doing his thing by the time Queen Mother came on the scene. He was already doing his thing. How about that? We're rhyming a little bit. All right, just a moment. We've got a new comment on the board. Let's take a moment and see who that could be. Okay. They're saying that Tina was one of their role models. Okay, okay. So again, the Mr. Harry Belafonte. Well, I have been to several performances by Harry Belafonte. In fact, I've been to more performances by Tina, but I have been to a few by Harry Belafonte. And let me just tell you, the gentleman commands the stage. When he is there, he commands the stage totally. Okay. He's one of the few performers to have received an Emmy Award. He received a Grammy Award, an Oscar Award, and a Tony Award. Now, he did win that Oscar in a non competitive category, but he's the only one who's won all of them. In the 50s, when segregation was still very widespread, his ascent into the upper echelon of show business was very historic. But his primary focus was civil rights. And I think that's one of the reasons how I got to know about Harry Belafonte, because as you know, we are the King family of Birmingham, Alabama, USA, right? And my father was very involved with civil rights. He was part of the men who invited Dr. Martin Luther King to come over to Alabama, which resulted in Dr. King coming to Alabama. As you well know, he wrote the letter from the Birmingham jail. We'll tell you that whole story at another time. But I began to know of him through his efforts in civil rights. Okay, he stormed the pop charts and he smashed racial barriers in the 50s with his highly personal brand of folk music, and he went on to become a dynamic force in the civil rights movement. And he did die on at his home on the Upper West Side of Manhattan at the age of 96. I'm telling you, the man was still looking good even at that age. The cause of his death was congestive heart failure, said Mr. Ken Sunshine, who was his longtime spokesman. Okay. At a time when segregation was widespread and Black faces were still a rarity on screens, large or small, Mr. Belafonte's accent to the upper echelon of show business was very historic. He was not the first Black entertainer to transcend racial boundaries. For example, Louis Armstrong, the singer with that strong, raspy voice. Also, Ella Fitzgerald, and there were others who had achieved stardom before he had. But none had made such a big splash as he did. And for a long while, a very long while, no one in music, black or white, was bigger than Harry Belafonte. He was born in Harlem to West Indian immigrants. He almost single handedly ignited a craze for Caribbean music with his hit record like Dale. Do you remember Dale? Dale, Dale. Daylight coming and we want to go home. Daylight coming and we want to go home. All right, he also did the Banana Boat song. I don't know that one as well. And the Jamaica Farewell. His album Calypso, which had all of these songs on it, reached the top of the Billboard charts after its release in 1956, and it stayed there for 31 weeks. Oh, that's heavy. 31 weeks, that's heavy. Most songs may stay on the chart for 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 31 weeks. Oh, yeah, it's a big thing. All right. Um, just before the breakthrough of Elvis Presley, he was said to be the first album by a single artist to sell more than 1 million copies. Okay. Mr. Belafonte was equally successful as a concert attraction. He was handsome, very charismatic. He held audiences spellbound, including me, with the dramatic interpretations of a repertoire that included sometimes folk traditions that he would do from all over the world. He would do those rollicking calypsos like Matilda, work songs like Lead Man Holler. Of course, I think some of these were a bit before my time, but tender ballads like Scarlet Ribbons, I didn't know of that one either. By 1959, he was the most highly paid Black performer in history. Wow. Wow. The highest paid Black performer. It's telling us right now in history, we're looking at the year 1959. Okay. However, there were others who had fact contracts for appearances in Las Vegas, the Greek Theater in Los Angeles, and of course, the Palace in New York. All right. Success as a singer for Mr. Belafonte led to, guess what? You got it. Movie roles. So we know him first as a singer, where he just captivated audiences around the globe. But then he moved on into the area of acting. He became the first Black actor to achieve major success in Hollywood as a leading man. Isn't that something? 1956. My Lord. I can't believe we're still, took that long for certain things to happen, but in fact, it did. Again, he was the first Black actor in Hollywood to become a leading man. That's major. His movie stardom was short lived, though, and it was his friendly rival, Sidney Poitier, not Mr. Belafonte, who became the first bona fide Black matinee idol. Okay, all right. He had his fame, but along came a man by the name of Sidney Poitier. I'm sure you've heard that name. And for whatever reason, Sidney came on board and he began to steal the spotlight, if you will. However, Sidney was an actor, not a singer. So Harry could always go between acting and singing and singing and acting and acting and singing. Oh, yes. Yes, he could. Yes, he could. All right. We're going to go in a moment to talk about, we got another comment here. Let's see what we're saying. Yes, continue resting in peace, Tina. Again, I did see the Tina Turner movie and understood about her relationship with Ike and how unpleasant it was and how she had to get away from him. And she did. She finally did get away and began her own career. So, yes, Tina, rest in peace. Rest in peace. Okay. See, what else do I want to tell you about Mr. Belafonte? He continued to perform into the 21st century, and he appeared in movies as well. Took a hiatus from the screen, but his primary focus from the late 50s was on civil rights. Mr. Harry Belafonte, we say to you, rest in peace, my brother. Rest in peace. Okay, we're gonna pull his name up on the screen in just a moment. Here we go. Mr. Belafonte, we want you to rest in peace. Thank you for all that you gave us. Thank you for all that you did. And thank you for rising to stardom and being the first of the first of the first in many things in your lifetime. We honor you. Ladies and gentlemen, now we want to talk about another legend who passed away in the month of June. That legend is called Jim Brown. Tributes have been pouring in for Jim since he passed away. Okay. Um, we know Jim as a man in sports. We know him as one of the leading men in sports. But he also, like Harry and like Sydney, he also had a life in civil rights. Okay. Roger Goodell called Jim Brown a cultural figure who helped promote change. Okay. To help promote change. Wow. Um, there was a anchor in America who did a 2-hour segment on Jim. Unfortunately I did not get a chance to see that. CBS Saturday Morning did a complete story on him. Queen Mother missed it. If you saw it and you have the tape, please send it to me. I would love to have it. Okay, so Jim began in sports. And even though he was in sports, he still used his platform to forward civil rights. In his sporting career, he retired after 9 seasons and he left behind Super Bowl and became a big league. Now, he left Super Bowl. After he left the Super Bowl, eventually it became a very big lead. Now, away from the game, LeBron James bowed down to Jim away from the game because of the voices he uses in civil rights. Okay. I will say to you that in terms of his acting career, he have more than 50 credits. Okay. One of the big things that legendary Jim Brown began to do is he began to work with young black men to help keep them out of prison. Uh, Now I know, and that this is one of the things that I remember about Jim. Now, before he started working with young black men to keep them out of prison, I met him. I'll just tell you a little bit about my relationship with Jim. I met him during 1974, during the Ali Foreman fight. He was one of the celebrities around, and a lot of the events that we were having at that time would be held at Jim's house. Jim lived in a big, beautiful, expensive mansion. I don't even know how many rooms the house had. I don't even know if I ever went to all the rooms in the house. But he lived in a very big, gorgeous, expensive mansion in the Hollywood Hills. And he had a swimming pool that was like an Olympic sized swimming pool. And people would love to come and swim at Jim's place. And of course, yeah, there were a lot of ladies at the house all the time, and they did whatever they do. I was not involved in that part of his life, you see, because Jim was a man who also was in civil rights. That's the point that he and I could connect on because I come from a family very strong also in civil rights. And I was living in Hollywood, and so was he. But again, I got to meet him during the Ali Foreman fight. And I walked up to Jim and I said to him, I introduced myself, and I wanted to know. I've been reading stuff about him in the news. I didn't know what was true or false. And at that time, I was a very young woman. And I should never have asked him this question, but I did. I went up to Jim and I asked him, this is after I introduced myself. I said, I want to know if what I've been reading about you in the news is true. And he said to me, young lady, do you believe everything you read in the news? And I pretty much said, yeah. Yeah, because, writers, they're like doctors. Okay, and they're like lawyers. They have to have an oath of truth about what they do. So yeah, if it's in writing, I have to believe that it's true. Well, he told me right away, well, you have a lot of living to do. He didn't make me wrong, but he said you have a lot of living to do. Okay, and he said if you really want to know about my life and you really want to know who I am, then you can follow me, and maybe you'll get your answer. And I said okay. And from there, I got an invitation to visit the house up in the Hollywood Hills. So during the Ali Foreman fight, we're talking about 6 months before the fight, events happening back and forth, off and on, traveling to different cities, promoting the fight, being on TV, being on radio interviews, going to churches, organizations, meetings, and just promoting in every way that we possibly could the Ali Foreman fight, which happened in Zaire, 1974, Kinshasa, Zaire, which is now DRC, Democratic Republic of the Congo. So that was how I met Jim, through the Ali Foreman fight and a lot of the folk who were around. And being that we both were people who dealt with civil rights, we used to talk about civil rights a lot. We would invite civil rights leaders into California to speak to us about things that were going on, whether it was policy, legislation, procedures. All right. Um, what else can I say about Jim as a friend? There was always good music at the house. There was always good food at the house, and the swimming pool was always there for you or anyone else to enjoy. Outside in the front part of the house, he had his basketball courts there, and he would play basketball there, and they would go into the community and bring in young people, both black and white, to hang out with Jim and play basketball. Myself, as a girl in college, right, I played in basketball. My position was a roving forward. So I knew a little bit about the game. So I used to watch that quite a bit. What else can I say to you about Jim? I don't know him to be a I don't know him to be a big meat eater. He may have been, but I don't remember that. I just remember a lot of fancy foods there all the time, right? Different types of hors d'oeuvres. I got to try some new things. I got to try out some new drinks, things I had never tried before. We would have events at Jim's house, but again, these events was not all of those big parties that you hear about all the time. Okay, our meetings was about trying to find out things that we could do in the Black community to keep our Black men out of prison and to keep them from joining gangs. Our meetings would be to talk about things that we could do to promote the Ali Foreman fight. Our meetings would be to talk about what could we do on the West Coast in California in relationship with civil rights. So he was a very smart man in that regard. I don't know anything about his life growing up as a student in school, but we do know that he went to Syracuse University. Okay, but he always encouraged me. He always encouraged me to stay in school. And even though I was very involved with the Ali Foreman fight, Jim would always encourage me to stay in school and do the right thing. And he would also want to know, did I need any help? Is there anything I needed that he could help me with? And he was always encouraging me to stay in school. And he would always tell me that you are one of our future leaders. So we're going to make sure that you get to finish your education. And that we did at UCLA, Los Angeles, California. We went on to study at some other institutions as well abroad. But I just wanted to take this moment and offer a tribute to Jim and say to him, my brother, may you rest in peace. Thank you for all that you gave. Thank you for all that you did. May you be blessed eternally. We thank you. So for not only just Jim, for Harry, even Sydney, who passed away earlier in the year, okay, may their souls rest in peace. And we always want to take time out to just say to those who, we all have to travel that route. No reason to be afraid of death. We all have to travel that route. So while you're still here and alive, make sure that you get a chance to be a friend to your friend. Be sure you take time out. If there's someone you need to make an apology for, go on and do it. Don't let that be on your heart. Okay? Take that out of your heart. Take that out. Do what you need to do to have a cleanness in your life and cleanness in your heart, right? Um, so now we just want to give you a few announcements as we're nearing the end of the show for today. There's an organization called Democrats Abroad, of which I am an active member. And Democrats Abroad is telling us about the reparations task force. If you're interested in that, go to https YouTube ADYUBU to find out more about the Democrats Abroad Reparations Task Force. If you Google that, it will come up and you can read about the Reparations Task Force. Soul Vegetarian Restaurant out of United States of America, also in Israel, okay, also in the islands in the Caribbean. It's now in Kenya. Soul Vegetarian, right? So we invite you to go check them out. The number 0742 654 810. I will say to you, the Queen Mother has taken vegetarian cooking classes from the Soul Vegetarian Restaurant. And once a quarter, we take our friends over to the restaurant, usually on a Saturday, where we all can learn to eat healthy. And one way you get to eat healthy is by learning how to cook healthy. So, Soul Vegetarian Restaurant right here in Nairobi, Kenya. Also, I want to say to you, if it's sweets that you want to eat, then you want to tune in to Lucille's. Thank you for tuning in to the to the Bonga Dada Bonga show. We're glad you're here. But if you got a sweet tooth, you want to check out Lucille. Lucille makes stuff like sweet potato pies and other mouth-watering treats. So if you're here in Kenya and you haven't had your sweet potato pie and you know Thanksgiving is coming up, Lucille's. That number 0732 567 327. 0732 567 327. Thank you. Miss Aisha Dafala, who's been crowned and appointed as Kenya's Blood Ambassador, reminds you and me to please visit the depository bank near you around the world and donate blood. Why? Because we all need it. And you never know when it's going to be your time to need blood. So please visit a depository near you in whatever city, state, or country you're in and donate blood. Thank you, Miss Aisha. There is an organization called Blissipline. Blissipline is an online platform, and what it does, it has practices that strengthen your ability to weather challenges. Strengthens your ability to weather challenges. Okay, and you can get Blissipline from http blissipline.life. http slash slash Blissipline, BLISSIPLINE.life. Go in there. They have a lot of courses for pay, but they also have some trainings for free, helping you to manage yourself when you're inside of challenges. And yes, we all do have challenges. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Okay, here comes another comment. All right. Woven into the Fabric, which is a book by our dear friend and sister, Sahai S.B. Farrell. You can purchase the book on, you can purchase the book through Amazon. Woven into the Fabric. Woven into the Fabric. Check her out on Amazon, Sahai S.B. Hayes Farrell. We ask you also to join the awareness and fight against human trafficking with HAART, HAART, which is a local organization who's against human trafficking. Queen Mother is a part of this organization, and we invite you, if you choose, to step into it as well. Human Trafficking with HAART, 254-738-506264. Once again, 254-738-506264. Be a part of the journey with our dear friend Vanita. Vanita Discovers Africa 365. Write it down. Vanita Discovers Africa 365. Vanita is I believe, 66-year-old woman who retired last year in December. And all her life, she'd always wanted to visit Africa. So she decided in March 2023 that she will travel in Africa for a whole year. That's why she's calling it her 365 journey. You can travel with Vanita. What you have to do is you simply go to Vanita Discovers Africa 365. Google Venida, Venida. Venida. Vanita Discovers Africa 365. The sister's journeying to 12. She's doing one country a month. Her first country was Kenya. And of course, we got to meet her here. But stay tuned. She's going to be checking in with us and letting us know what she's doing and how her travel is going. I think right now she's in Uganda. Okay. She's in Uganda. And I believe her next visit will be to Liberia. Okay. So let's, once again, Vanita 365. If you want to do Africa and you haven't, follow Vanita. She's never been. This is her first time. I mean, Queen Mother's been doing Africa since 1974. This is Vanita's first trip in 2023. So again, follow her. Vanita Discovers Africa 365. Just Google and keep up with the travel. BF Suma supplements are available. You can call 0796 509 965. BF Suma is a supplement company out of USA, and products are distributed here in Nairobi, Kenya. And in fact, I am a BF Suma distributor. And please check us out. Give something a try just by calling 0796 509 965, and we'll talk to you about the different types of products that BF Suma has to see what will work for you. Something in the BF Suma lineup will work. Once again, BF Suma supplements available in Kenya. We want to invite you to check out the Queen Mother Speak Show, which comes on every Wednesday live at 5 p.m. East Africa time, 10 a.m. New York time. Diabetes Peer Support Group every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll come with the phone number for you that later, but there's a Diabetes Peer Support Group every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I believe if you Google Diabetes Peer Support Group, you can get more information and they'll give you a link to join. There's a phone, sorry, not a link. They want to give you a phone number first because they want to make sure that everybody who comes in, okay, to the group should be in the group. So before they give you the link, they want you to call their phone number. Okay, and just by Googling Diabetes Peer Support Group, you will get the phone number. All right. All right. Okay, so we're going to ask you to, we want to thank you again for tuning into the Queen Mother Speak Show. I'd like to give a shout out again to Christine, who's been with us the whole show today. Thank you, Christine. We were expecting once again our celebrity blogger. She did not make it to the show tonight, but that's okay. We'll be having her on from time to time, giving you and me updates on what's happening in the celebrity world. Okay, so we're going to be ending the show in just a moment, but we want to give you our closing quotes for today. And they are just one small positive thought in the morning can change your whole day. Just one. Just one positive thought in the morning can change your whole day. And I want to testify that that's true. I want to say that a few days ago, Queen Mother was feeling some pain in her neck. Okay. And so I did get a masseuse and we started working out the lumps and the bumps from stress that we found in the body. All right. We started working it out. After the massage, which was on Tuesday, I felt so much better. So when I woke up in the morning on Wednesday, I said to myself, I'm feeling so much better. So now that the universe and the Spirit of God have blessed me to feel better, what can I do for myself today? So I had a thought that said, why don't you go walking this morning? So I did. Boom! I stripped out of those pajamas, put on my workout clothes and went outside. It was a beautiful day and I had a great walk. So I'm telling you, one small thought in the morning can change your whole day. Because when I got back from the walking, I not only felt good, I knew that I was also doing something wonderful and positive for myself. Last but not least, we want to say to you, opportunities don't just happen. You create them. You create them. You create them. Thank you for tuning in to the Bonga Dada Bonga Show. We're on every Thursday at 7 p.m. East Africa time, 12 noon New York time. This is Bonga Dada Bonga. I am your correspondent, Dr. Dashanaba King, signing out. We'll see you next week. It's a beautiful day.